now call the September 24th, 2025 Historic Preservation Commission meeting to order. This agenda was posted in compliance with the open meeting law, and all members are in attendance with the exception of member McComb via Zoom, and members Davenport and Wingert are absent. A quorum is established. Please join me in standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item is the initial public comment period. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. Each person has up to 3 minutes to speak on a specific agenda item. As a reminder, all public comments should be addressed to the commission as a whole, not to an individual member of the commission or the audience or the city staff. The public may call in 702-589-9629 to provide their public comment. Does anybody want to come to the podium and state your name for the record?
Good afternoon, council, commission, staff. Brandon Smith for the record, Boulder City Historic District homeowner. Just trying to address agenda items 6 and possibly 7. As you guys might be well aware, the motel sign district had a very near miss this last week with Pink Box applying for a variance in regards to some of their signage featuring 10-foot tall mascots that happen to look like poo. And obviously that was denied, thankfully. But that corridor is very near and dear to, I would say, most all Boulder City citizens, and represents our main corridor into the heart of our city. And as we have presented to you earlier in the year and repeatedly, we strongly, quite frankly, beg you to consider putting the motel sign district on your radar for actual designation as a historic district unto itself, so that we don't have to keep coming up against this kind of resistance to respect our historic downtown area, and have to fight against corporate entities bringing their corporate identity, which most of the time is disrespectful to our historic character. And as we continue to try and reinvigorate that corridor specifically and keep it historic in nature, we please beg you to add that specific corridor to your agenda and your horizon for official historic designation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have nobody else that would like to come to the podium? Nobody on the phone? Seeing that we are done with this portion, we will close the first public comment period. Next is agenda item number 1 for possible action. Approval of the minutes of the July 23rd, 2025 meeting. Do I have a motion for approval?
I motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion is approved unanimously. Agenda item 2 is for possible action, Election of officers. Staff, can you please provide an overview?
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners. So it's September, and that means it's time to reselect a chairman and vice chairman for the commission. So you have in your packet the nomination process. It lays out the steps that are involved in how you would select a chairman. It starts with opening for nominations, and then after nominations, people nominate individuals for chair. Then you'll ask for a motion to close the nominations, and then you would vote. If only one person is selected, both for chair and vice chair, then there's no reason to vote. It's by acclamation. You have in your packet Ms. Davenport's interest to continue on as chair. And so you could start with the process of selecting the chair for the next year.
Okay. Do we have any nominations for chairman? I would like to nominate Davenport again to continue.
I second that, if I'm supposed to second it.
Yeah, no need to second, but if there are no other nominations, then you'll just seek a motion and a second to close nominations.
And do we have a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion is approved unanimously. By acclamation, Ms. Davenport has been selected as chairwoman, actually. I will now ask members to vote for their preference for, we are going to vice chair. Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
I nominate you. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I don't mind continuing this at all. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved unanimously by acclamation. Myself, Krista May, has been selected vice chairman.
Congratulations.
Why, thank you. Thank you. Next is agenda item number 3 for possible action. Matters pertaining to a public hearing and consideration of a certificate of appropriateness application for 1319 Colorado Street for an attached garage. Staff, your report?
Thank you, Vice Chairman May, and members of the Commission. So Nikisha Lyons, City Planner with the Community Development Department. Item number 3 before you tonight is a public hearing and consideration of a certificate of appropriateness for 1319 Colorado Street, as shown on the screen. This is for an attached garage on the western facade of a single-family dwelling that's located on the property. And here's an aerial view of the home. Built in 1932 in the National Folk architectural style. This is a single-family home at this location, and it is an example of the reclamation engineered temporary housing that was built back in the 30s. Despite minor modifications to the dwelling, since it was originally constructed, it retains its integrity of location, setting, feeling, workmanship, and association, and is considered a contributing resource within Boulder City's historic district, and that's based on the 2020 architectural resource assessments that were done. The applicant would like to add an attached garage onto the western facade of the home that you can see on the screen. North is downward on this site plan. The attached garage is to be set back about 3 feet from the front facade. This keeps the existing front corner of the house and roof line as the attachment has an offset ridge line. Double gable look and has more depth to the overall appearance of the residence, as you can see on these elevations, which is the bottom one showing the front of the attached garage on the home. Per Chapter 27 of City Code and the associated Certificate of Appropriateness Matrix, an addition requires Commission to review and approve a Certificate of Appropriateness for this type of change. The applicable criteria that the addition must conform to includes the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation and then the adopted design guidelines specific to the National Folk Style. City staff has coordinated with our historic preservation consultant, Courtney Mooney, with Broadbent and Associates for compliance review regarding this addition. And so starting on page 16 of the agenda packet, that goes over Mooney's review, which indicates that this proposed addition complies with 4 of the 6 applicable Certificate of Interior standards and meets 2 of the design guidelines. So in regards to the Certificate of Interior standards, the proposed garage addition will not change the use of the home. It does not result in the creation of a false sense of historic development. It will be differentiated from the original home, and it is subordinate to the original massing due to it being set back from the front facade. If we could pull up the screen again, thank you. Let's go back to that. So here you can see that it's set back the 3 feet. And then I'll go here. So you can see the proposed garage door that's going to be used for this attached garage. The proposed project will result in the removal of the original wood frame windows that are on the western facade. However, these windows will be relocated for reuse on the enclosed front porch that they have.
I like that.
So you can see here, so those are the windows at the bottom that are going to be removed, and then at the top, they'll be replaced there at the enclosed front porch that they have on the property. The proposed project will result in the removal of historic materials that will alter features that characterize the property, and it is not reversible. So those are the 2 that it doesn't meet. In regards to the applicable design guidelines, the proposed project meets the standard for roof and walls, as the recessed garage will have a side gable roof similar to the primary massing of the home, and there is in-kind wood siding that they're going to be using to match what exists currently, so which is the original on the primary massing, which you can see here. The materials that they're going to be using to align with what already exists. However, the proposed project does not meet the standards for massing and garage, as it will increase the historic massing that's visible from the street, creating a recessed eel addition, and adds a feature that is not original to the design of the home. So homes that were built on the side, they didn't have garages originally. The proposed garage addition will match in color and materials as we've discussed. So the siding, roof shingles, and the window trim, those will all match to the existing residence that's there. It is important to note that staff, as well as our historic preservation consultant, we've worked with the property owners, the architect, as well as their contractor in regards to the proposed garage, which their original design that they had, it would have been flush with the home's front facade, so there wouldn't have been that setback. And so that design does not meet any of the Secretary of Interior standards, as well as any of the adopted design guidelines. So we've had discussions with them about other design options, such as what they have proposed in front of you tonight, with it being set back 3 feet, as well as having a detached garage instead. That would be in the rear yard. And so this is the design that they have gone with. In regards to the detached garage in the rear yard, there are site constraints within the rear yard that just present some challenges in regards to constructing something that is detached. I'll kind of go back. There's an irregular lot shape that would really limit the square footage that they have available to them. As you can see there towards the bottom, it has this like weird kind of pointed area, so that would be where it would go, but there's just not enough space back there, and it's just really odd. So they went with this design option instead. All other zoning requirements that we have in our code that are applicable to this attached garage, those are met. And so if approved, the next step for the applicant would be to go ahead and move forward with submitting a building permit that's related to these improvements so they can start construction once that's approved. The application has been noticed in accordance with city code, and the city has not received any written public comments. So the request before the commission tonight is to review the application and make a motion to approve or deny the certificate of appropriateness application based on the findings that are within the motion language that starts on page 17 of the agenda packet. On page 19 of the agenda packet, there's a submittal letter talking about the project, the drawings and the plans that have been presented before you as well tonight. Those are within the packet. Staff and Ms. Mooney, we are available for any questions that the commission may have. I have additional photos of the existing condition of the home and the space there, that if you would like to see those as well. And we have the property owner tonight, one of the property owners, Matt Dickey. He's here, as well as the architect, Sean Logan, and their contractor, Brian Williams. They're all here tonight if you have any specific questions that you would like to discuss with them about the improvements. Thank you.
Commission, do you have any questions for the staff?
I
have a
do.
question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Will, after all these changes, will the house still remain historic? Will it still be on the registry, or will this change it?
So I guess the technical answer to that is yes, because it's not being resurveyed at this time. But in the future, if it was resurveyed, this would impact that status. And Courtney can, Ms. Mooney can elaborate further if you'd like.
So we would lose that house.
From my understanding, yes, that is correct.
And when do you resurvey?
The first survey was done in 1983, and we updated that in 2020. So there's no set time frame when we might resurvey, but there was that span of nearly 40 years between the two surveys.
And you had a question?
Yes. Is there a possibility to do an attachment on the? Is there a possibility to do an attachment of the garage on the back of the house?
I think that there would be some spacing issues, but I would rather have the architect and the contractor kind of speak to that.
I would have just a comment to the members of the commission and everybody. Generally speaking, I'm in favor of approving this, but I just want to make the comment that little by little, if we move along with different houses and different properties, and we approve a garage here and an addition there, and just a little this and a little that, and 30 years from now, 40 years from now, the district may not be as historic as it is today. So that's just something that's just the way it is if we continue to approve this. But as a property owner myself, I understand that this property owner, what they want to do. So I am in favor of that, but I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah. Are they doing this to the house so they can rent it, or are they going to live in it?
They would be able to answer that question for you. It's appropriate for them.
Yes, please. If you come up and state your name for the record, please.
My name's Matt Dickey. I am one of the two owners of the house. This was my wife's grandparents' house. That's how we ended up with it when she passed away 4 or 5 years ago. There was kind of a family deal that went on, and we ended up buying out the remaining owners or people who had received the partial ownership of the house. So that's how we became owners of the house. Our plan is to use it as a winter home. We live in Idaho, where obviously it's a little chillier in the winter, and so we had planned to come here during the winter. As I'm retired, but she's still a school teacher, so as we get older, we would be spending more and more time here. As it cools down in Idaho, we'd come here and spend time here. So, and looking at the city rules, or county rules, I'm not sure, we aren't allowed to rent it over a short term. So we'd have to rent it for like 8 out of the 12 months of the year, and then ask the people to leave those other 4 months. And so that's not going to work very well. So we had not planned on renting it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yes, I had the question about, can it be an attached garage from the back of the house?
I can answer that in terms of how my wife and I feel about it is that would block off a good portion of the backyard, and you would no longer have a backyard. You would just have a garage attached to the house, and it would cover up a lot of the windows that are in the back, and it would just not be nearly as nice to live in. I mean, it's a small house as it is, and if you enclose it that much more, it just gets that much more claustrophobic.
And can you tell us the reason why you don't want to do a detached garage?
Because it would have to be detached by about 2 inches, because that's the only amount of space we have before we come up against the property line of our neighbor who's actually here on that side. So we have no room to do a detached garage there, so it would not work out very well. Because we need a 5-foot setback, and I believe our space is 5 feet 2 inches.
But you could always ask for a variance.
But then we move closer and closer to his property line, and then you throw off the whole thing of having a detached garage by, I don't know how many feet, and then everything just does not look as well, because and the materials cost would be more, because then we'd have to be siding multiple areas, and it's just not going to work as well for us.
Comments? Thank you for recycling the windows.
Yes.
And reusing those.
Yeah,
I like
but that
you were
was
gonna do that.
my wife really wanted to keep those windows. They are neat windows,
They
and
are.
she wants to keep them.
Fantastic, that'll look great. Now it's time for the public hearing on this item. Public comments are limited to this item, and each person has up to 3 minutes to speak. The public may call 702-589-6929 to provide public comment. Would anybody in the audience?
Hey, Brandon Smith again, for the record. Yeah, look, I guess this is kind of where the commission decides if we are going to commit to remaining historic designated city or not. As Commissioner Baker mentioned, obviously a little change here, a little change there. These houses continue to fall off our ever dwindling list of homes that are historic still, contributing or individually eligible for historic designation. I seem to recall that somebody said along the way that it was the intention of revisiting the audits on a fairly more regular basis, not leaving 40 years in between audits. And I think, having homes that are exactly in this position, that they were historic for the last audit, but between the last audit and the next audit, they'll also be coming off the list. I think it's just a recipe for disaster, to be honest. So all the more reason to continue to expand our historic designated spaces, to add buildings into the mix and get kind of dilute the homes that might otherwise be falling off the list, and give us a bigger number to deal with. There's only so many homes that started in the historic district, and as everyone falls off, we just get closer to complete disaster of not qualifying as a historic destination anymore. While I also personally, I argue with myself over, living in this climate, in this desert. Obviously, having an enclosed garage is very beneficial to the inhabitants of any home here. It would be great if there was some sort of leeway to be able to do something like this to your historic home and still remain contributing. But I guess until somebody comes up with a great solution for that, then then it really needs to focus on, we can't lose another home off our contributing list, especially if these audits come to pass, more in like a 10-year or 5-year span. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Bryn Delormier, Historic District resident and homeowner. And I also agree with what Commissioner Baker said. I can understand wanting to keep our district historic, and I think when the, March 2020 survey was done, I think it was cited we had 42% of our homes, our buildings were historic at the time, and actually to remain on the NHRP, it has to be a threshold of 50%. So I can understand wanting to keep as many contributing homes as we can, but on the other hand, being an owner of a couple homes in the district, I can understand, they're not time capsules, they're our actual residences, and we want them to be livable. So yeah, it is difficult. And my own home, within 200 feet of it, since that survey was done, I can list 4 different homes that I'm not sure they went through the certificate of appropriateness process. Actually, I know they didn't. And I know that they would be removed from the list, and I know that our percentage has gone down since then. So I just want to throw a note or request out that the survey actually be done more often, and that we have a better understanding of how many homes are on that list, because I think it would be unfair to deny a request like this that is trying to follow the correct process when a lot of people don't. So those are my comments. I hope they can do the audits more often. I don't know if there's a way to get back to that 50%. I don't think we're at 42% anymore. I would be interested in knowing what percent we are at now, but I can understand certainly wanting to make your home livable. Trying to do the same while actually trying to get my non-contributing home back to contributing status. So that's what I had to say. So thank you.
Thank you.
I do have someone on the line if you'd like to take that comment.
Okay. We have somebody on the line. Are you there?
Public comment, go ahead.
Hi. I would like to make a comment about the topic that they're discussing. I actually am one of the property owners, but I can't be there because I'm in Idaho.
Just state your name for the record and go ahead.
Hi, my name is Amy Slack, and I'm actually one of the owners, and so I wanted to call and give some feedback.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Amy Slack, and I wanted to give some feedback. I'm actually one of the property owners, and I guess one of the things that I wanted to say is the reason that I want a garage, because it's my grandparents' house. I've really tried to work through the process, and I really want to keep things as original as possible. But one of the problems that we have is that we literally have inside the house for storage, we have 3 small bedroom closets. And then outside is where our washer and dryer is, as well as our water heater. And so that's kind of one of the things I want to keep everything as historical as possible. We've sourced wood siding to match the original wood siding, and we'll replace anything that's damaged with that. I'm trying really hard to keep the original windows, but I think I would agree with other people. We're trying to keep it historic, but it's also not 1932, and so it has to be livable. And right now, I don't even know where I would put my vacuum cleaner. So that's kind of what I'm up against.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. I'm going to hang up.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome. State your name for the record, please.
Hi, Sean Logan, the residential designer for the 1319 Colorado Street proposed garage. I just wanted to add a little bit to clarify the setbacks and the detached part. First of all, what Amy just said is correct. The washer and dryer and the water heater are things that will make the elements of everything look better outside than being all enclosed inside and not viewable from the alleyway or other such areas. The detached part doesn't really work very well. There's only 18 feet from the side to the neighbor. The addition is only 13 feet wide, which is not a lot for a garage. That leaves us the 5 required on the side. The building department does not require much of a separation. It could be 1 inch, but that would obviously look silly in a way. But other than that, we have overhangs on this home. You know, they're 2-foot wide overhangs, and if we want to match it with another 2-foot wide overhang, now I've got them how close together or right up against each other. So detaching it just doesn't really become a better looking architectural reality to it all. And of course, we've discussed a little bit about it fitting in the rear. There really isn't any room. The room's on the side. If we put it in the rear, you know, now our backyard is gone. You know, are we going to have barbecues on the side of the house? That's kind of silly, but just making a kind of general question about what's brought it there, why it's there, and why it makes the most sense there. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else in the audience? Any more questions? Bringing it back to the dais, do I have a motion?
I move to deny a certificate of appropriateness for 1319 Colorado Street based on the findings that the proposed work does not comply with all of the applicable Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation and the city's adopted design guidelines.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes, well, it is, fails
Denied.
by a vote. It is denied by a vote of 2 to 1.
A vote of what?
All 3 denied it.
I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It does not pass it does not pass on a vote 2 to 1.
So you don't vote?
Pardon? I did. I didn't deny it.
Okay, so who didn't vote? There's 4 of you.
No,
No.
he's not
Chuck,
allowed to
you
vote.
didn't vote, even though you said earlier that you approved?
Matt?
I approve of the, I would have approved it, but I am not a voting member.
Okay. So how many other members are we missing?
We have a
Okay.
quorum right now.
I know, but how many other members are we missing?
So you can move on with the agenda. The commission has voted. I'm happy to talk to you afterward.
Yes, because we have a lot of issues now.
Next is agenda item 4 for the possible action, matters pertaining to a public hearing and consideration of a recommendation to the city council for the nomination of the Bullock Field Navy hangar for local designation as an individually eligible property on the National Register of Historic Places. Mr. Johns with Broadbent and Associates, please proceed with your presentation and your report.
Good evening, Vice Chair May, commissioners, staff. My name is Matthew Johns. I'm the project historian of Broadbent Associates. And so we, at the request of the city and the Historic Preservation Commission, prepared a National Register nomination for the historic World War II Navy hangar located at Bullock Field in Boulder City. The nomination follows an intensive level survey that we completed in September 2024 of the entire Bullock Field airport site that includes the original hangar itself, former terminal building, and a remnant of the original runways and the associated structures. Sorry, do I? Yeah. Okay. I apologize.
No worries, they're all different.
The Navy hangar was constructed by the Navy in 1941 at the existing Bullock Field Airport to support long-distance flights between the East and the West Coast by the United States, or the East and West Coast of the United States. It was a part of a nationwide mobilization of military facilities in preparation for World War II. It is believed that the hangar was designed by Albert Kahn Associated, Inc., led by its firm's principal architect, Albert Kahn, a German architect who settled in Detroit, Michigan. Kahn prepared roughly 1,650 different naval installations prior to April 1943, including steel frame hangars. Just a quick note about the association. Broadbent did interview 3 different Kahn scholars. Each agreed that the Navy hangar is one of Kahn's smaller designs. However, there is no definitive documentation to support this. The design called for a 102 by 87 foot steel hangar, or steel frame hangar, a 25,000 gallon fuel storage tank and pump, a small wood operation / comfort building, and a paved warm-up apron directly in front of the hangar itself. During the summer of 1940, then Nevada Senator Scrugham, having earmarked $70,000, ground broken for the facility. Construction was completed by a LA-based contractor, Charles J. Dorfman Company. The hangar was never actually used by the Navy. However, it did have a brief history of military use during World War II, such as flight and ground training. The Bullock Field property was transferred to the Department of the Interior in 1946, after which it was used for commercial purposes, most notably for the short-lived Desert Skyways airline, which was operational between 1944 and 1951. This company serviced planes and offered charter flights and flight training. Bullock Field closed in 1990 when the Boulder City Airport was constructed. Although the glass window panes have been removed and or destroyed, the hangar retains the majority of its historic architectural integrity, with the exception of its setting due to the modern developments that have begun to encroach upon the airport's original footprint. As well as the removal of the wooden comfort building located north of the hangar. You can see the comfort building on the historic image on the left. It's that small little building to the right of the actual steel hangar. Broadbent does recommend the hangar itself is individually eligible under Criterion A under the theme of military for its association with the development of air power for military purposes, and under Criterion C as it is an intact hangar that embodies the distinctive characteristics of construction purportedly designed by master architect Albert Kahn through his architecture firm Albert Kahn Associates. If you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them.
I have a question. I've actually asked this of Courtney before, but I just want to reconfirm. If the designation is approved, at some point in the future, if the city should want to use the building for a veterans museum or a military type museum, would this designation impact that negatively at all?
I will defer that to Courtney. Should be.
Good evening, Commission.
Hi, Courtney.
This is Courtney Mooney for the record. No, Commissioner Baker, it would not.
Thank you.
Would it continue to be used for city storage, or would that change? Do you know?
Really, the designation will not have an impact on that. That's an operational question.
Okay.
It's currently used for city storage now of
Right.
utility and public works equipment.
It would be nice if it could be used for the public so people could, we'd have to fix it quite a bit though. It's such a great space. Any other questions for him, Commission? Now is time for public hearing on this item. Public comments are limited to this item and each person has up to 3 minutes to speak. The public may call 702-589-9629 to provide public comment. Anybody in the audience would like to come to the podium? Please state your name for the record.
Brandon Smith again for the record. Yeah, look, when I first got to town, I took it upon myself to actually check this building out. It is a monumentally cool building. And I'm highly in favor of adding any buildings that are even remotely considerate of some historic designation in their own right. I think this building, it should definitely qualify. Personally, I think it's sad that it's currently being used as storage. I would love to see it being utilized for public events for our citizens. I know that we are as a city looking for candidates for event spaces. I think this would fit the bill for that as well, as long as its internal usage didn't impact its historic designation. I think obviously it should be historically designated. It would be, again, just wonderful to incorporate into either council function or city function or citizen access. Again, it's obviously we all need storage of some description, but it seems to be an awfully cool building to be wasted on storage. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody on the phone? Anybody else? We will close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
I recommend approval. I move to recommend to the City Council approval of the nomination of the Bullock Field Navy Hangar for the local designation as an individually eligible property for listing on the National Register of Historic Places based on conformance with the National Register criteria and city code.
And I second that. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is approved unanimously. Next is agenda item 5 for possible action, discussion regarding activities for Historic Preservation Day and award for 2026.
So I know for
Staff, your reports.
yes, I know for the commission, you feel like you just finished up with
We
this.
did.
But this is our opportunity to start discussing next May's event.
Okay.
And so we will have this on the agenda regularly as we move forward. As in past years, you have in your packet a timeline of when certain actions have to be completed. You also have the attached list of the prior historic preservation days and what those activities were. Also included, you have the 2025 nomination flyer and the also activities flyer from 2025 as point of reference. So this is your opportunity to begin discussion about potential focuses for Historic Preservation Day 2026. Staff would like, if there's agreement with the commission, to sign off on the nomination flyer so we can move forward with that. That is relatively consistent. You'll recall that there's really 2 steps in the process. There is the nomination, where we're seeking nominations from the community. We get that out in the community with the utility mailer and social media. And then there's the actual activities of the Historic Preservation Day. And so with that, we can answer any questions, or it's the opportunity for the commission to discuss.
Any questions? Comments? And this is the flyer that the nomination flyer from last year. This one. Will we use the same design? Do you guys want to use the same design? And we'll put in the picture of the church?
Correct. Yeah, we always update that. But yeah, if everyone is fine with that format, then we'll continue with that format for the nomination flyer.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it. What about you? Yeah, approve it. We can use the same one with the updated dates and information.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Great.
So we can cross that off. And we need to come up with a theme. And then we can plan the activities around that.
So
have
to
to
give, oh, sorry, to give
have
the
to-
commission some food for thought, we have had a request from the Henderson Historic Preservation Society, who has requested to present to the commission next month to see if there's opportunities to partner between the commission and Henderson. So that might be an
Interesting.
opportunity to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
What if we each come up with some ideas possibly for next month, and we can talk about those ideas and kind of finalize our theme, then we can gather things after we talk to the Henderson Commission? Does that sound like a good idea?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. Next is agenda item 6, update on implementation of the commission's goals and priorities. Staff, your report?
So you have the updated goals. Changes are noted in bold, and we can answer any questions regarding those changes.
Commission, any questions? I don't think at this moment we do. Pretty straightforward. Thank you. Next is agenda item 8 for the possible action. Commission discussion regarding potential agenda items for upcoming Historic Preservation Commission meetings.
Madam Vice Chair, actually, we need to go to number 7.
Oh, I apologize. Next is agenda item 7, discussion update on the status of properties in the historic district or other potential eligible properties. Sorry about that. Staff, your report?
Yes, so similarly, monthly, we report out on both activities and projects that are occurring either within the district or have some type of historic significance. And so items in bold are highlighted in your attachment. We can answer any questions.
Commission, any questions?
I don't have any at this time.
All right, no questions. Thank you. Next is agenda item 8 for possible action, commission discussion regarding potential agenda items for upcoming Historic Preservation Commission meetings. Now is the time for us to discuss. Putting anything on for the agenda?
I would like to put a discussion about Hotel Row and expanding.
Corridor?
The corridor, yeah.
Hotel corridor? Could we add that to the agenda, please, for next month?
Yep.
Anything else? Now is the final public comment period for the evening. Public comment during this portion of the agenda may be on any subject. Each person has up to 3 minutes to speak on a specific agenda. The public may call 702-589-9629 to provide public comment. Or please come to the podium.
Hi, Bryn Delormier, and I guess we're going for a record number of public comments tonight. I'm sorry, but I don't know how many of you commissioners, I don't know if any of you were here in 2022, when the Historic Preservation Ordinance was passed, October 2022. And maybe I should have said this at the initial public comment period, but I wanted to actually make a request that maybe for your last agenda item, I guess it would have pertained to that. Or maybe you can discuss it at the next time that agenda item comes up. I was hoping it could be revisited to see how effective it is. You just heard from one homeowner that I know is disappointed with the outcome. I know that I was opposed to it when it was being discussed and when it initially passed. I've been continuously frustrated by it since then. I haven't been able to remodel the exterior of my home. I just run into one roadblock after another because of the certificate of appropriateness, the difficulty of it, I'll say the bureaucracy of it. I don't have a nice way to put it. It's just frankly impossible to work with. And I am trying to renovate my home from a non-contributing property to a contributing one. There are just frankly a lot of things in it that don't work. I've met with Courtney Mooney several times. This was about 3 years ago, and frankly I've given up and just started working on the interior of my house and making that historic. But frankly, it doesn't work for me, and I know I'm not just speaking for myself. There's a whole group of us that have found each other and just been frustrated with it. So that's what I have to say about it. And I hope the commission can let it not be a document that's set in stone, but something that they revisit and ask what's working and what isn't. So that's what I have to say. Thank you for your time and for your service. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm Matt Dickey. I'm one of the owners of the 1319 property on Colorado Street, and my wife and I are extremely frustrated with what has gone on here for us tonight. We have tried to make a bunch of effort into following the rules, doing the very best we can to meet what would make the commission happy, and we've done what we can. We can't do any more, and we have no other place to put that garage. We cannot put it in the back. It is just not going to work. And that now makes that house much more unlivable. We have no place to store our stuff when we go away for back to Idaho in the warmer months. We would have to somehow move it inside. Our washer and dryer and water heater now are going to be, I don't know where they're going to go because we don't have room inside that house. Things are so much different than they were in 1932, and we just can't live with the way it is. So I don't know. This makes me feel like this was a huge mistake to have agreed to have bought this house and to try to make it into something that was going to work for all of us to come down here. We are both very frustrated, and I don't know much else what to say. I don't know what else we could have done. We did the best we could. And if that wasn't good enough, then I guess we just leave the property the way it is and we move on. And it is the last decrepit house on Colorado Street. And we were ready to turn it into a $500,000 house. And now it will not be that way. And that is a loss for the city, at least in terms of revenue.
Thank you. You can bring it up here. Yeah.
Sean Logan again, designer for 1319 Colorado Street. Just like to add a few more things to the equation. I actually didn't expect to hear this, so I guess I'd saying the other things before didn't seem to be there. Well, we also, in our justification letter, was trying to imply that we have compensating benefit like the Henderson Building Planning Commission does down there, where you add landscaping to help compensate for some of the other things that may not be fitting every single thing, the 4 of the 6, the 2 of the 4. You know, we've met more than 50% of the requirements based on the historic districts. Again, that's 4 out or 6 out of the 8. That's 75% of the items that we've met. The building itself sits 34% in the rear yard itself on how much of the square footage of it is in the rear yard. But our compensating benefit is we're not even required to landscape the property based on the historic districts. If I was on the historic district, I would find that as a failed priority. I mean, why are we not required to landscape a property? That would not make it obviously look nice. Denver Street, Colorado, to have a house sitting out there that's not landscaped wouldn't look good, period. Okay, so we want to landscape it, make it look pretty and nice. We're not even required to, but that's again something that Henderson calls a compensating benefit. The picture you're seeing is a carport of the house 2 doors down with the gate in front of it. We can legally do that without even, if I'm not mistaken, Keisha, without even a historic district's approval. Does that house look nice? Does it look, that carport sitting up against the block wall? My carport, according to Keisha, still needs to be 5 feet away from the neighbor. But to put up a carport and a gate, how would that be more attractive than a beautiful garage door that they have set before you? One more element is that we didn't think that it needed to be discussed, but certainly now we feel that it would help. But we had offered at one time of sitting the garage door at the rear and coming in from the alley. Then we'd have windows in the front. Now it would look like part of the house instead of a garage. If that's a way of swaying the service, then Matt would be fine with that. We didn't feel that with all that we complied with, that it was going to be necessary. It's certainly not what they would prefer to have coming in off the alley. But again, all of these elements together and the fact that we have houses on these streets with carports that are not nearly as good looking, architecturally speaking, as what we're proposing, I find is a failed vote. Thank you. But we so would like to have you reconsider if that's still time for either tonight or in our appeals. But I'd just like to point out that it's, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello again. Yep, we're setting a record for public comment. Commissioner Brandon Smith for the record. I would ask the commission to take this opportunity for next year's Preservation Day to really like double, triple down on the opportunity to educate the historic district on what they've got going on, what it means to be an owner in the historic district, and hopefully, things like what just happened won't continue to happen as people invest in the historic district. They need to know what they're signing up for. Again, owning multiple properties within the historic district, I've been asking for information regarding my properties since I got here years ago. I still haven't gotten completed information just by request for the same thing. I know it seems to be a constant issue day after day as the homes continue to change hands over time. There's a lot of people confused about what it means to be in the historic district. With the historic ordinance, that seems to be not working as it was designed to do as homes continue to come off the registry instead of working towards maintaining our 50% threshold that we need. And these are all things that need to be discussed. If this gentleman with the Colorado home, I don't know, if how involved the commission was and said, look, basically we need to make sure that whatever your plan is, it allows the home to remain on the registry, because that's kind of what your function is. And that's what we're all trying to do here, is keep Boulder City historic. So we need to do all we can do to educate people in the district, out of the district, people who are potentially considering the district. Everybody needs to know, and I think we could make it cool, do some super cool map that actually could be some sort of artifact in itself that we can be proud of, that each one of the homeowners in the historic district can hang on a wall as a piece of art, something like that. I think there's a million ways to improve awareness in the historic district, and again, this one day a year, I think, is the prime day to do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Are you wanting to? Going once, going twice? All right.
My name's Brian Williams.
Wait till you come to the microphone so we can hear you, please.
Yeah, my
Thank
name's
you.
Brian Williams. After reviewing the project on Colorado Street, do any of you have any suggestions on what we could do to make the place, a little bit bigger for them? We're kind of grasping at straws here. We're trying to, appease our customer, the board here. But does anybody have any suggestions? I mean, just to come outright and say no, I don't think it's right. There's got to be some kind of give and take to where we can make the board happy, the customer happy, and, fit these guidelines somehow.
Madam Vice Chair, so this is the final public comment period. The commission cannot have dialogue because that would violate open meeting law. So you can continue to provide your public comment, but they can't respond.
Okay, yeah, that's, if anybody has any suggestions, they can submit in writing to help this along, we'd appreciate it. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, you can only speak once.
All right, we will close the final public comment period. This meeting is adjourned.
Oh.